United States. Beneath the towering peaks of Colorado's Rockies and the sprawling deserts of Arizona, a different reality unfolds. In bustling cities where dreams are supposed to take flight, countless individuals find themselves grounded by poverty and homelessness. Once hailed as the land where anyone can rise, America now grapples with stark inequalities that overshadow its promise. In forgotten towns and overlooked neighborhoods across 10 states, the struggle for a better life becomes a daily battle for survival rather than a pursuit of prosperity. Imagine waking up each morning not to opportunities but to uncertainty. Families face the harshness of inadequate support systems, while communities wrestle with the failure of institutions meant to provide stability. These states, rich in natural beauty and cultural landmarks, conceal the silent hardships of their residents, painting a complex portrait of a nation at a crossroads. As the American dream slips further out of reach for many, questions arise: what led to this widening gap? How did hope transform into hardship? Join us on a journey through the heart of America's most challenged states, where we peel back the layers to reveal the true stories of resilience and despair. As we navigate these landscapes, we confront the pressing question: is the American dream fading, or can it be rekindled amidst the shadows? Las Vegas, Nevada, the mirage of prosperity. Las Vegas is often associated with bright lights, luxury casinos, and endless entertainment options, but beneath the glitz and glamour lies a far less glamorous reality. The city, which relies heavily on the tourism and entertainment industries, has seen a rapid rise in poverty and homelessness in recent years. The booming tourism industry brings in millions of dollars every year, but the wages paid to workers in these sectors are often too low to support a decent standard of living. Las Vegas has a poverty rate of about 14.6%, which is higher than the national average. As a result, many residents are left struggling to make ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck in a city that is often portrayed as a land of opportunity. Homelessness has skyrocketed in recent years, with more than 18,000 people living without stable housing in the greater Las Vegas area as of 2022. The city's lack of affordable housing and the over-reliance on low-wage service jobs have contributed to this crisis. Many workers in the hospitality industry, from hotel staff to casino employees, are unable to find housing they can afford, despite working long hours in one of the world's most profitable cities. The constant influx of tourists and the high demand for real estate have driven up rental prices, making it even harder for locals to find a place to live. In addition, Las Vegas faces a severe shortage of mental health services and social support systems for its homeless population. The city's rapid growth has not been accompanied by the development of sufficient infrastructure to support those in need. Without more affordable housing and better access to mental health and addiction services, the situation in Las Vegas could continue to worsen. Is Las Vegas really a land of opportunity, or is it simply a mirage for those struggling to survive in the shadow of its flashy casinos and resorts? Baltimore, Maryland, the struggles of a major city. Baltimore, once a booming hub for manufacturing and trade, is now a city in crisis. With a population of nearly 600,000, the city has seen its fair share of challenges over the years. A significant issue is its staggering poverty rate, with more than 26% of the population living below the federal poverty line. The city has struggled to adapt to a post-industrial economy, and the lack of job opportunities has left many people in a cycle of poverty with little hope for upward mobility. Baltimore's homelessness problem is equally troubling. As of 2022, more than 9,000 people in the city were living without stable housing. The city's once vibrant neighborhoods are now filled with abandoned buildings and empty storefronts. The gap between the wealthy and the poor has widened, leaving entire communities disconnected from the economic recovery that has helped other parts of the nation thrive. Despite significant efforts from local organizations and government initiatives, the problem of homelessness continues to grow. The absence of affordable housing and social services that could help people transition out of homelessness only perpetuates the issue. With the local economy struggling to create new job opportunities, many residents are left with few choices but to live on the streets or in temporary shelters. How did Baltimore, a city once filled with promise, become a poster child for urban decay and economic collapse? Can it find a way to recover, or will it continue to spiral into deeper poverty and homelessness? Louisiana, a state struggling to rebuild after disasters. Louisiana, often associated with its vibrant culture, delicious cuisine, and Mardi Gras celebrations, has faced one setback after another. The state's vulnerability to natural disasters, particularly hurricanes, has left it grappling with the devastating aftermath of events like Hurricane Katrina in 2005 and Hurricane Ida in 2021. However, the state's issues run deeper than just the physical devastation caused by these storms. Louisiana is plagued by widespread poverty, unemployment, and inadequate infrastructure, which have made it increasingly difficult for the state to recover. The state of Louisiana has one of the highest poverty rates in the U.S., with nearly 20% of the population living below the poverty line. The Gulf Coast region, where much of the state's oil and gas industries are located, faces not only the threat of environmental degradation, but also an economic downturn. Louisiana's rural communities are particularly hard hit, with limited access to education, healthcare, and job opportunities. This rural isolation has created a sense of neglect and abandonment in many parts of the state. The homelessness crisis in Louisiana is growing, particularly in New Orleans. The city has long been known for its struggles with homelessness, and after Hurricane Katrina, the situation became even more dire. Although the city has made strides in rebuilding, affordable housing remains in short supply, and many residents are still living in unstable conditions, even years after the storm. Rising rents and low wages have led to a significant increase in the number of people living in shelters or on the streets. What can be done to address Louisiana's mounting problems? Will the state be able to recover from its ongoing cycle of disaster and poverty? Or is the situation too far gone to reverse? Kentucky, struggling with poverty and addiction. Kentucky, known for its bourbon, bluegrass music, and beautiful Appalachian landscapes, is another state that has been deeply affected by economic decline, poverty, and addiction. Kentucky's rural areas have long been neglected, and many parts of the state have been hit hard by the decline of traditional industries like coal mining and manufacturing. The state has one of the highest poverty rates in the country, with nearly 17% of its population living below the federal poverty line. The opioid crisis has worsened the situation, particularly in rural communities where healthcare resources are limited, and addiction has taken a devastating toll on families. In addition, Kentucky faces a severe shortage of affordable housing, particularly in its rural counties. With few jobs available and wages stagnating, many residents are unable to find stable housing. The rise in homelessness has been particularly noticeable in areas like Louisville, where the city has seen a dramatic increase in the number of people living on the streets. Despite efforts from local governments and organizations, Kentucky continues to face a bleak future without significant investments in education, healthcare, and economic development. Will Kentucky be able to break free from the cycle of poverty, addiction, and homelessness, or is it doomed to continue its downward spiral? Alaska, the last frontier struggle. Alaska, often seen as a pristine wilderness filled with towering glaciers and abundant wildlife, hides a harsher reality beneath its natural beauty. Despite its breathtaking landscapes, Alaska is one of the states with the most significant economic challenges. The state's economy has traditionally relied on industries like fishing, oil, and natural resources, but these sectors have been in decline for years. One of the biggest issues facing Alaska today is its dwindling population. In 2021, Alaska saw a population drop for the fourth consecutive year, with many residents fleeing the state in search of better economic opportunities. The lack of diversification in the job market makes it challenging for people to find stable, well-paying employment outside of oil drilling and fishing. But perhaps the most pressing issue in Alaska is its homelessness crisis. While it may not be as visible as in some of the major cities on the mainland, homelessness is growing at an alarming rate. The cold, unforgiving winters make it difficult for individuals to survive on the streets, leading to a higher mortality rate among the homeless population. The state's high cost of living, particularly in remote areas, further exacerbates the problem. Many Alaskans are forced to live in unsafe, overcrowded conditions because affordable housing options are scarce. In addition, Alaska's limited healthcare options and high rates of addiction and mental health issues contribute to its social instability. Can the state find a way to address its unique economic and social challenges before it's too late? Or will Alaska continue to face the risk of collapse in the years to come? Michigan, the struggle of the Motor City and beyond. Once the heart of America's automotive industry, Michigan's economic decline has been a direct result of the collapse of manufacturing jobs. Detroit, in particular, is infamous for its bankruptcy in 2013, the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history. But the problems plaguing Michigan extend far beyond Detroit. The state has faced a prolonged economic recession, largely due to the erosion of its manufacturing base, and the poverty rate in Michigan has consistently remained above the national average for years. Detroit's challenges are emblematic of the state's broader struggles. The city, which was once a thriving metropolis, now has a population of just over 670,000, down from a peak of 1.8 million in the 1950s. Economic disinvestment, poor governance, and crime have made the city a poster child for urban decay. Large swaths of the city are empty, with abandoned homes and businesses lining the streets, and Detroit's poverty rate hovers around 30%, one of the highest in the nation. Homelessness is another serious issue facing Michigan. While Detroit leads the state in homelessness, other cities like Flint, Grand Rapids, and Lansing also face significant housing challenges. The state has high rates of foreclosure, which has exacerbated the homelessness crisis. More people are living on the streets and in shelters, and those who do have housing often find themselves struggling to pay rent due to low wages, especially in urban areas where the cost of living is rising while job opportunities stagnate. The state has attempted to pivot to new industries like technology and clean energy, but this shift has not yet provided enough high-paying jobs to compensate for the millions of manufacturing jobs lost. Michigan is also grappling with systemic issues like failing schools, inadequate healthcare, and income inequality. Can the state reinvent itself in a post-manufacturing world, or is Michigan doomed to continue its long slide into poverty and homelessness? Hawaii, paradise at a cost. At first glance, Hawaii might seem like the ultimate paradise: pristine beaches, lush tropical rainforests, and beautiful volcanic landscapes. However, for many of its residents, Hawaii has become a difficult place to live, thanks to soaring living costs and an ever-growing homelessness crisis. Hawaii consistently ranks as one of the most expensive states in the nation, with prices for housing, groceries, and other essentials skyrocketing. The high cost of living, combined with stagnant wages, makes it nearly impossible for many residents to make ends meet. In fact, Hawaii has the highest rate of homelessness per capita in the United States, with thousands of people living in tents, on beaches, and in makeshift shelters. Many of those affected are local residents who simply cannot afford the high cost of rent, particularly in popular cities like Honolulu. The lack of affordable housing options and the dominance of the tourism industry, which often drives up prices, only makes matters worse. The state's reliance on tourism as its primary economic driver means that many workers are employed in low-wage jobs that do not provide a livable income. Those in lower-paying service industries often find themselves living paycheck to paycheck, with little to no savings to fall back on. As a result, Hawaii's homeless population is not limited to the chronically homeless or those with mental health issues. It includes many working-class residents who simply can't afford to live in one of the most beautiful places on Earth. What will it take for Hawaii to solve its homelessness crisis? Can the state find a way to balance its tourism-driven economy with the needs of its residents? Or will it continue to see its most vulnerable population pushed further into despair? Mississippi, America's poverty capital. Mississippi consistently ranks as one of the poorest states in the U.S., with over 20% of the population living below the poverty line. The state's economy is heavily reliant on agriculture, but as the global economy has shifted, Mississippi has struggled to diversify its industries and create new opportunities for growth. In fact, Mississippi has one of the lowest median household incomes in the nation, and its educational system is frequently ranked as one of the worst in the country. The state's poverty rate is compounded by its ongoing struggles with healthcare. Mississippi has the highest rate of uninsured residents in the nation, and the state's rural areas often lack access to basic medical services. As a result, preventable health issues such as heart disease, diabetes, and obesity are widespread. High unemployment, poor healthcare, and poor education combine to create a cycle of generational poverty that is difficult to escape. Homelessness is an issue in Mississippi as well, though it often goes unnoticed. Cities like Jackson and Biloxi have seen rising homelessness rates, despite a lack of visible homeless encampments in many areas. Many people in Mississippi are forced into temporary housing or live with relatives as they struggle to pay rising rent prices on their own. There are simply not enough affordable housing options in the state, and as a result, many residents are living on the edge of instability, unable to escape the grip of poverty. What steps can Mississippi take to break free from this cycle? Can the state find a way to diversify its economy, improve its education system, and provide its residents with better health care, or is it doomed to remain trapped in poverty? West Virginia, a state gripped by economic decline. West Virginia, once a hub for coal mining, has faced a severe economic decline as the coal industry has waned in recent decades. The state has seen an outflow of jobs, particularly in the coal sector, and has not yet been able to adapt to a post-coal economy. As a result, West Virginia suffers from some of the highest unemployment rates in the country, along with widespread poverty and a lack of economic mobility. The state's economic decline is compounded by the opioid crisis, which has devastated many communities. West Virginia has one of the highest overdose death rates in the country, and this epidemic has left many families in disarray. The lack of mental health services, combined with high unemployment, has created a desperate situation for many West Virginians. In addition to economic struggles, West Virginia faces significant infrastructure issues. Many rural areas of the state lack reliable roads, access to health care, and good schools, which has made it difficult for these areas to attract investment or businesses. Homelessness is not as visible in West Virginia as in larger cities, but it is nonetheless a growing problem. Many people who lose their homes due to economic hardship or substance abuse are left to fend for themselves in makeshift shelters or on the streets. Can West Virginia recover from its economic collapse? Or will it continue to struggle with poverty, unemployment, and the opioid crisis for years to come? Pennsylvania, the Rust Belt's decline. Once a thriving industrial powerhouse, Pennsylvania is now dealing with the aftermath of deindustrialization and the loss of manufacturing jobs. Cities like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia were once bustling with factories and mills, but many of those industries have long since shut down. As a result, Pennsylvania's economy has shifted away from manufacturing and towards service and technology sectors, but not everyone has been able to make that transition. Many areas in Pennsylvania are still struggling to recover from the decline of the steel and coal industries. As these industries disappeared, so did many jobs, leaving behind a large population of unemployed or underemployed residents. The state has one of the highest poverty rates in the nation, and a significant portion of its population lives without sufficient resources to meet basic needs. Homelessness is a growing issue in Pennsylvania as well. While the problem is not as widespread as in some other states, cities like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh have seen a rise in the number of people living on the streets. In 2021, it was reported that nearly 15,000 people were experiencing homelessness in Pennsylvania, many of them living in shelters or on the streets. The state's struggling economy, combined with a lack of affordable housing and social services, has created a dangerous cycle for many families and individuals. Poverty and homelessness are often interlinked, and without adequate support systems in place, it's difficult for people to escape these cycles. With more people moving away from rural areas in search of better opportunities, Pennsylvania must focus on revitalizing its economy and ensuring that all residents have access to housing, healthcare, and job opportunities. Can Pennsylvania find a way to break free from the cycle of poverty and homelessness that has plagued its communities for years? Or will it continue to struggle as it tries to adapt to a changing economic landscape? Conclusion: America's struggle for survival. In this travel documentary, we've taken a deep dive into the 10 states that are facing some of the most severe economic and social challenges in America today. From Alaska to Kentucky, these states are grappling with poverty, homelessness, addiction, and the decline of traditional industries. While the beauty and charm of these places are undeniable, the reality for many residents is a daily struggle to survive. Each of these states has unique challenges, but there are common threads: economic decline, lack of affordable housing, inadequate healthcare, and a widening gap between the wealthy and the poor. Unless these issues are addressed, the risk of collapse for many of these states remains high. What do you think is the solution for these struggling states? Can America recover from these deepening social and economic issues, or are we witnessing the gradual decline of the American dream? We want to hear your thoughts. Comment below and let us know what you think about the current situation in these states. If you found this travel documentary insightful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content like this. We'll continue to explore America's struggles and uncover the stories that often go untold. Thanks for watching.